Yo, Mission Warrior over on the Twitch. What's up, the Twitch? Okay, folks, we are going for it. I am sicker than I was last episode, but I am here, so pity me. There's a good chance I'll just lose my voice during the whole thing, and that is okay. Oh, Susie Cute 14 over on Rumble has some good advice, and that is hit that like button. Hit the like button now. Don't wait. Prophetically hit the like button in a spiritual stance that indeed you will like the episode. You can always take it back later, but getting those likes early really helps us out. Hit the like button. Thank you, Susie Cute 14. We got Night of the Hungry Panda, Datalorian, Santa Wears Brown, there he is, Canary Cry UPS guy, Daniel G over there on YouTube. Okay, we will see what happens here, folks. Whoo, doggy. We're hoping to have sort of full-length show, but it's going to be succinct, it's going to be snappy, it's going to be so impressive. So I think with that being said, we are just gonna go for it. Let's go for it, everybody.
The world is getting crazier. People are acting more and more insane. The end of the world is tomorrow. Tomorrow. There's only one thing to do when the world is falling apart. Listen to Basil and Gonz as they discuss this week's news and events through the lens of Bible prophecy.
You are listening to Canary Cry News Talk.
You're listening to Canary Cry News Talk. Today is October 27th, 2023, and we are live to tape on episode 682. And today, DISINFO Dark Lord. And signing on from off the grid, Razzle Dazzle, I'm your sick buddy Basil. And you are not crazy.
And my name is Gonz, director of the Age of Deceit films, your favorite Asian provocateur for Christ. Not just another Asian. Live to tape from California to bring you the best news, which is the gospel message of Jesus Christ, while reporting the egregious with a well-rounded, biblically grounded take on world events. And today's emergent phenomena, hashtag Trollmageddon. The trolling has reached levels never seen before. And I think this is its own kind of internet Armageddon apocalypse kind of moment right now. So
yeah, the apocalypse, of course, referring to a revealing.
Yes.
And so, revealing the trolls revealing themselves. I like it. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, as you can hear, folks, my condition has not improved since last episode, but we are going to push through. We're going to make it happen because what else are we going to do this Friday? Mm-hmm. So, Gonz, why don't we hit that disclaimer and get this show rolling?
It's time for a disclaimer.
Now listen up, YouTube.
That's right. And just for all the content moderators and censorship managers out there, be they robots or humans, everything you hear on this show comes directly from the mainstream corporate news media. We do not claim to be experts on healthcare, geopolitics, military strategy, corporate law, or the moral and ethical implications of any of these topics, nor do we implicitly or explicitly support or subscribe to any sources or narratives containing misinformation, disinformation, or malinformation, as defined by the Department of Homeland Security. We're good boys. All right, YouTube, we're good boys. That's right, and here's a little rundown.
Oh, look, here's Basil.
Let me bring you up to speed.
Start off, Gonz will be taking us on a little walk down some interesting rabbit holes when it comes to the Israeli situation. Israel invoking Voldemort. I don't know what this means, but Gonz does, and he's going to teach us all. Then we'll be doing a quick FLIPPY/drone update. Poor Ukraine has not been getting the attention that it deserves recently, so we'll be given a little FLIPPY robo drone update from Ukraine, which is a fun one. because, well, you'll see why. And then second part of the show, Gons will be giving us a little update on NewSOM science. What does NewSOM has to say about all this? And I will confirm through science and fifth generation warfare, free will does not exist, or something like that. Am I made to say that? Am I choosing to say that? I don't know. It's stupid, but it's very effective in the fifth generation warfare. And at the end of the show, everybody's catching on to the Nephilim penguins. But first, Gons, our lead stories.
Oh, man. A lot going on.
And you shall hear wars and rumors of wars.
Just merely mentioning Israel or questioning in any way Israel's policies is not the same thing as being pro-Hamas.
Zionist!
Oh, yeah. We've continued to see not just the ground warfare and I don't know, there hasn't been as many reports about stuff going on. There's just more arguing about what has happened, the atrocities that have taken place.
Yeah, I mean, there's just to be clear, we are aware that there was a light ground assault by Israel, and they are planning to do a second light ground assault. Surely everybody has had this pushed in their face through the media, wherever you are. But as usual, what's more interesting to us, and we think more edifying to the future of our listeners, is dissecting the fifth generation warfare. The battlefield is not just in the Middle East. It is literally for your mind. And but sometimes Israel has just really incredible abilities to tap into generational trauma. And this will be an interesting one.
So we've talked about some of the advertisements that the nation state of Israel has done as part of their promotional package during this war period, which is very interesting how blatant it is. I feel like in past generations and over the last decades, the media has helped in the messaging for war, post 9/11 in the 90s and all that kind of stuff. But it's just weird seeing it so blatant in the realm of social media. And so they had their 40 beheaded babies narrative that they pushed out there on X and YouTube. Remember there was that unicorn, bright unicorn imagery and
purchasing advertisements.
Yes.
Placing, spending advertisement dollars. Mm-hmm. To tell people about dead babies, not just, I don't know, a press release, but purchasing ad space to talk about dead babies.
Were you, did you see the one from YouTube? The one where they had the unicorn and then
the child one?
And then it said like, your kid can't read this, but 40. Yeah. So stuff like that. Now, I believe they have upped the game. I think in the list of intensity when it comes to the chaos magic, this is another level. It's like a Frieza from Dragon Ball. There's levels when they upgrade, So here's at Israel on X, formerly Twitter. And they posted, they who must be named, Hamas equals ISIS. And they have an image here. And it says, Hamas redefines evil. With a picture of Voldemort. Yes, the evil character, or I guess complicated character from
Harry Potter.
From Harry Potter.
Oh no, he's evil. This is hilarious. I'm just seeing this for the first time. For those
you
who are just listening.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, it's a meme. It says Hamas defines evil. Watch the evidence. Hamas-massacre.com. Yeah, sure, great.
Yeah,
and it's Voldemort. it's obviously sort of AI generated. Voldemort staring at a phone. He's clutching with two hands. He's looking at the phone, and Voldemort is crying out in anguish. Even the evil,
Hamas
you can
is
see it.
So evil.
Hamas-massacre.com is making Voldemort cry. Oh my gosh, this is. Now look, why is this so important? I can feel sort of the boomers maybe not fully identifying with this, and maybe the Gen Zs are rolling their eyes. The Harry Potter phenomenon is so very specifically millennial.
Yeah.
Millennials, no matter who they are, they have been, Harry Potter might be the defining piece of media for the coming of age of millennials.
It got a whole generation to read books, these big, thick books that, reading has gone to the wayside. No, not with Harry Potter. Everyone's reading 7,000 pages. Yeah, well, the movies.
I never read the books, but the movies are great. In
my youth, the books were huge, and then the movies came out later. So
yeah, of course they were huge. So this is very specifically targeted at millennials, and much like 9/11, invoking the name of Voldemort is, hilariously enough, is accessing a generational trauma for millennials. This is very specifically, some social engineered triggering of millennials to try to get them on Israel's side. And it is ludicrous to look at, but very effective, considering that, millennials are kind of the ones leading the way on the social justice, followed by a strong tide of Gen Z. But, millennials are sort of the elders of the social justice actual activism, given momentum and power by the Gen Z. So if you can trigger the millennials, the rest will follow.
Yeah, and as the eldest of the millennials, I certainly had an emotional reaction to this. It was at first I was confused. At first I was like, no way. I'm like double checking the account because it's so absurd. But then I thought, okay, well, maybe, this makes sense. If you're going to up the game, if you're going to get to that next level of troll, this would be it. And it speaks to a generation, like you said.
And to just help, I get it. The boomers, they're kind of laughing at it. I get you. I understand. This is hard to understand. But seeing Voldemort being so disturbed by Hamas-massacre.com, it is maybe not equivalent, but it is akin to posting a picture of the Twin Towers, like in free fall, saying, look, the Twin Towers are looking at Hamas-massacre.com and they're giving up. It's very similar to that. The Harry Potter narrative is sort of installed into every millennial as a way of sort of making sense of life. And this is,
well, it's
on
also
one hand, outrageous and hilarious and almost unbelievable.
Yeah.
It's really almost unbelievable. But it is also very effective because to have his face, you remember every evil thing that Voldemort did and how he was just like so unredeemably evil. And oh my gosh, he's so offended by Hamas.
Well, it's hilarious because so much of the justification for everything going on over there has been the narratives, especially from the side of Israel, has been this is good versus evil. I've heard a lot of American politicians and evangelicals say that too. This is a matter of good and evil. And so I just think it's kind of weird to invoke one of the most popular evil characters to be like, look, even the evil character cannot stand this Hamas evil. So yeah, there's levels to this. But also, I do think this is a form of chaos magic. I know you've talked about chaos magic, Basil, but there aren't really rules, right? That you kind of just use whatever to create the ends that you desire. And so in that context, doing things that are a little bit more provocative makes sense. I mean, this post has 14 million views as of opening it up. And, it's funny, though, because very powerful. But I also noticed that a lot of the responses were of a little bit more of a suspicious nature. They're like, okay, at Israel, like, what? All right, funny, or we just don't want you to promote war kind of thing,
Right.
Which I also think maybe that's part of the design as well. If you're talking about victimhood and how that is useful in, many contexts. But there is a biblical aspect to this. Here's Netanyahu, Bibi, talking about how this whole ordeal is invoking biblical prophecy. Oh, hold on. I need to unmute the channel. That would probably help. Here he is.
Our war against Hamas is a test for all of humanity. It is a struggle between the axis of evil of Iran, Hezbollah, and Hamas, and the axis of freedom and progress. We are the people of the light. They are the people of darkness, and light shall triumph over darkness. Citizens of Israel, October 7th was a very dark and black day in our history. We will fully investigate what had happened at our southern border, the border with Gaza. Everybody will have to provide answers, myself included, but all that will happen only after the war. As a prime minister, I'm responsible for guaranteeing the future of this country, and now my role is to lead all Israelis, the state of Israel and the people of Israel, to an overpowering victory. It is now a time to come together for one purpose, to storm ahead to achieve victory. In joint forces and a profound belief in our justness, a profound belief in the eternity of the Jewish people, we shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah. There will no longer be stealing at your borders, and your gates will be of glory. Together we will fight. Together we will win.
All right. So there's Bibi fighting words. Wartime
Sounds
here.
Very much like Zelensky in the early parts of the Ukraine war.
Very similar. Now, the Christian Post has taken part of the speech here and made it part of the headline. Netanyahu defeating Hamas will make prophecy of Isaiah a reality. Pretty I didn't know it was that contingent, but yeah.
Relevant in considering some of the questions we were asked last episode.
Yes, exactly. They go over the whole thing, the same kind of deal there about what he just said. We just quoted it with video, but I want to get to the part here where they're kind of breaking down the prophecy a little bit, or trying to. They don't do a great job with it, but it says here. The quote, "We shall realize the prophecy of Isaiah. There will no longer be stealing at your borders, and your gates will be of glory. Together we will fight. Together we will win." Translated to English, Netanyahu's statement appeared to be a reference to Isaiah 60, verse 18, which says, "Violence shall no more be heard in your land, devastation or destruction within your borders. You shall call your walls salvation and your gates praise." And then the Christian Post continues here. In the same chapter, 2 verses prior to the one quoted by Netanyahu is what most scholars believe is an Old Testament reference to the Lord Jesus Christ. And it has a quote there, or the verse there, "You shall suck the milk of nations, you shall nurse at the breast of kings, and you shall know that I, the Lord, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the Mighty One of Jacob." Which is kind of funny because it's like, yes, Christian Post, I do think that is about Jesus, but okay. The Pentagon is reportedly in the process of sending U.S. military advisors and air defense systems ahead of the expected incursion into Gaza. That effort will be led by Marine Corps Lieutenant General James Glynn, who led special operations against the Islamic State in Iraq, The Guardian reported Monday. So it goes from, hey, let me break down this Bible verse, to, hey, the Pentagon's getting ready to go in there too. Hey, all right, World War III, let's go. Which is not surprising, given that Christian Post has some interesting origins. But before I get to that, do you mind, Basil, if I just do a quick read of Isaiah 60? I think it would be edifying for all of us to just kind of walk through the chapter. It's not super long, but I can kind of fly through it here and tell me if you notice anything. This is Isaiah 60. This is the Berean Standard Bible translation here on BibleHub.com. Future glory for Zion. Arise, shine, for your light has come, and the glory of the Lord rises upon you. For behold, darkness covers the earth, and thick darkness is over the peoples, but the Lord will rise upon you, and his glory will appear over you. Nations will come to your light, and kings to the brightness of your dawn. Lift up your eyes and look around. They all gather and come to you. Your sons will come from afar, and your daughters will be carried on the arm. Then you will look and be radiant, and your heart will tremble and swell with joy, because the riches of the sea will be brought to you, and the wealth of the nations will come to you. Caravans of camels will cover your land, young camels of Midian and Ephah, and all from Sheba will come, bearing gold and frankincense, and proclaiming the praises of the Lord. Kind of sounds like the prophecy of the first coming of Messiah there. All the flocks of Kedar will be gathered to you. The rams of Nebaioth will serve you and go up on my altar with acceptance. I will adorn my glorious house. Who are those who fly like clouds, like doves to their shelters? Surely the islands will wait for me, with the ships of Tarshish in the lead, to bring your children from afar with their silver and gold, to honor the Lord your God, the Holy One of Israel, for he has glorified you. Foreigners will rebuild your walls, and your kings will serve you. Although I struck you in anger, yet in favor I will show you mercy. Interesting. Your gates will always stand open. They will never be shut day or night. Oh, yeah. You don't like the gates open, or... Oh, no, that's not good. Hey, what's up? No screaming, buddy, please. What's wrong?
This kid, he knows. See, sort of like Trump, you gotta make noise. You gotta be offensive, and that's how you get the attention you deserve.
I know, and then part of it is reinforcing that screaming when you respond to it, and I understand that. It's so hard to work around that. But okay, back here, your gates will stand open; they will never be shut day or night, so that the wealth of the nations may be brought into you, with their kings being led in procession. For the nation or kingdom that will not serve you will perish; it will be utterly destroyed. The glory of Lebanon will come to you, and cypress, elm, and boxwood together to adorn the place of my sanctuary, and I will glorify the place of my feet. The sons of your oppressors will come and bow down to you. All who reviled you will fall face down at your feet, and call you the city of the Lord, Zion of the Holy One of Israel. Whereas you have been forsaken and despised, with no one passing through, I will make you an everlasting pride, a joy from age to age. You will drink the milk of nations and nurse at the breast of royalty. You will know that I, the Lord, am your Savior and your Redeemer, the Mighty One of Jacob. Instead of bronze, I will bring you gold. I will bring silver in place of iron, bronze instead of wood, and iron instead of stones. I will appoint peace as your governor and righteousness as your ruler. No longer will violence be heard in your land, nor ruin or destruction within your borders, but you will name your walls salvation and your gates praise. No longer will the sun be your light by day, nor the brightness of the moon shine on your night, for the Lord will be your everlasting light, and your God will be your splendor. Your sun will no longer set, and your moon will not wane, for the Lord will be your everlasting light, and the days of your sorrow will cease. Then all your people will be righteous. They will possess the land forever. They are the branch of my planting and the work of my hands, so that I may be glorified. The least of you will become 1,000, and the smallest a mighty nation. I am the Lord. In its time, I will accomplish it quickly. So there's a lot there. There's a lot going on in Isaiah 60. And of course, it's been broken down many, many, many times by many different scholars and everything. But as far as I can tell, it seems to be talking, especially towards the end, the second half, about the millennial reign, the New Jerusalem, the everlasting kingdom that's established physically. And so in my view, and again, this might upset people, and I know it upsets some people, is that when you see Netanyahu saying, hey, it's Isaiah prophecy, we're doing it, the common thing that I've noticed well before Netanyahu doing this is that the whole logic behind the modern nation state of Israel, the Bible verses that are used to justify, hey, they founded a nation in a day, all this stuff, all comes from passages or chapters about the New Jerusalem. And so it's kind of like, okay, is it a partial fulfillment? I would say maybe at best it's like a partial, minuscule fulfillment. Otherwise, it's kind of like the rest of it is talking about, there's other passages where there's no sin in the streets and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, I don't know that that's describing modern day nation state Israel. And so, anytime I point that out to people that take those verses and use it to apply to this sort of interpretation, they will say that it's a partial fulfillment. Yeah, that's how I feel about it too, buddy. I know. Okay.
He's loud today. He's feels charged up.
Yeah, sorry. Trying to fix his Play-Doh here. Trying to fix his Play-Doh situation.
Play-Doh.
Give me a second.
I wish I had some Play-Doh. I should bring Play-Doh to the show. Okay. Yeah, one last thing here.
Yeah,
about
so
the Christian Post.
Yeah, so back to the Christian Post sort of peddling this narrative about, defeating Hamas is going to fulfill Bible prophecy, just like Netanyahu said. It's weird, number one, but it's not surprising. We have the history of the Christian Post. It's a wiki page, but we are doing our best here with the limited time we have. And of course, Christian Post was formed in 2004, but it was formed in D.C., which I thought was kind of interesting. Their headquarters in San Francisco and D.C., which is like, all right, that's it's a little suspicious there. But it got me thinking about a conversation I had with Dr. Future about 2 years ago. And you can go find the episode. I was going to try to, yeah. What are you trying to build, bud? Yeah, the conversation I had with him, you can go find on Canary Cry Radio. I believe it was about 10 episodes ago with Dr. Future, the spiritual industrial complex. And in the interview, he was describing how Billy Graham and the whole establishment of American evangelicalism and really the right, the conservative right establishment was formed and funded with big oil. Like big oil was like the main sort of financing for all of that taking place in America. And there's actually a book. I have not read it. I just found it kind of doing some digging. I'm curious about it. It's a book by Darren Dochuk, and it's titled Anointed with Oil, How Christianity and Crude Made Modern America. And I'm interested to dig into it because I feel like this topic of oil has a lot more to do with what's happening in the Middle East and not just the whole Palestinian thing.
Yeah, well, there's a parallel there because, of course, in Israel-Hamas conflict, you've got specifically sort of religious terms being invoked. The two sides are considered to be religious blocks when, you know, kind of in reality, it's a bit more of a political taking of sides, just using religious terms to tap into people's belief system and try to help them take a side, preferably a side that whoever is giving the messaging
benefits them,
would like them to take, similar to Northern Ireland with the Catholic and Protestants, and similar to the creation, as you mentioned, of the Christian voting bloc. You know, it used to be that just being Christian didn't necessarily implicate you with conservative values, or maybe not even, well, I mean, that's different. Conservative values, but
like voting Republican.
Specifically, yeah, sort of the pro-oil drill, baby drill. You know, it was not that long ago. It was within your lifetime, boomers, that the Christians were sort of motivated or mobilized as a voting bloc, that they could try to invoke the belief system in order to reach political gains.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's funny because we see it happen over and over and over, no matter what religion is being used, but it's been a very effective political tool for those who know how to wield it well.
Yeah, and Christianity was the main vehicle because there were so many Christians in America, especially post World War II and the building up to the Cold War and to Vietnam and everything. And part of the conversation with Dr. Future, he was talking about how Billy Graham was a big supporter of the Vietnam War. And it was because of some of the financial interests that were wrapped up in that whole thing. And of course, now we know that Gulf of Tonkin was a false flag, and the whole thing was started on some lies. So,
you know, it's interesting that you brought this up this show, because in my quiet thinking time recently, I've been sort of wandering back to this concept, and I was thinking about growing up in the church, there was always sort of a lot of attention put on, we need Christians in circles of power so the Christians can, influence the politicians and the thought leaders and the corporate. This was always a big thing. And whenever somebody, whether it was a big pastor or a member of the church or whoever, found themselves in sort of the circle of power, specifically corporate and political power, we're like, okay, God is putting them there so that they can influence the way that the ruling powers, make their decisions. And what's unfortunate is we see many times with Billy Graham and others, what happened was they would be introduced and brought into the fold of these powerful circles, and they would do much less influencing for Christ then the powerful circles would influence them for political and economic reasons. So it was kind of, unfortunately, happened in the opposite way that the church would prefer, but was still celebrated over and over and over. Think of Billy Graham in the Oval Office, in the circles of power, that he was bringing Christ influence. But of course, now history has bore out that the political and economic influence was much stronger, going the other direction. And it doesn't mean we see this happening over and over.
Yeah, and it doesn't mean there's plenty of people who were saved because they saw maybe a Billy Graham preaching or something like that.
Yeah.
So it's all things, not all things, but multiple things can be true
not
at
to
once.
Take away the good in things that Billy Graham brought to people's lives. I know plenty of people who got saved at a Billy Graham thing.
But it's almost it's funny how there's nothing new under the sun. And in our time here with internet era, 2.0, as we're moving into Web 3.0, the whole thing has been, hey, build up an audience and then sell that audience's attention for money.
Right.
And that's the exact same thing. The churches were sort of the internet influencers of the 50s, 60s, that era where, well, maybe not the same way, but it's similar in fashion because they were the communities, the people gathered around, and so if you can get a hold of those leaders, then you can start funneling some messages through them and then you can reach the masses. So it's the same thing. It's selling your audience's attention, which again, we don't want to do. Yeah, I know. Selling attention. That's, oh, whoa.
You know what?
It's got a real strong scream today.
I translate that baby's screams to be saying,
move on.
It's
move
Friday.
On.
Let's go. It's Friday, boys.
All right, hold on. I got to pull stuff up. It's because Friday, I guess, I ain't got a job.
Oh my gosh.
And
the Richter scale. There you go. We can keep playing with the Friday thing.
You're gonna learn today.
Cause it's Friday. You ain't got no job. And you ain't got shit.
Are you not entertained? Every day. It's Friday. It's Friday.
Okay, it is Friday, folks. Just for everybody's, just so everybody knows, we are tracking down some leads on babysitters and nannies. We are working around the clock to try to
get there.
Stabilize. Look, a lot of people love the baby. I love the baby. The baby is flavor, but it is an unstable situation that we are working to rectify. And if you want to help us out with that, you can go to canarycrybabysittersclub.com and support the show there. That money will go directly to getting the baby cared for during the show.
Speaking of which,
okay,
real quick.
Uh-huh.
He is turning 3 years old tomorrow. We are having a little party here at the house.
Oh boy.
So there you go. He's a year older. I can't believe he's already 3. It's crazy. It just seems like he was born yesterday, but there you go. They get older. I don't know.
Illusion.
Time is in a straight direction.
Uh-huh. Okay, Gons. Do you have anything specific?
No, that's my thing.
That's your thing. Okay.
My son Keizo's birthday, third birthday. So if you want to produce the show in honor of his birthday over the weekend,
$3.
We're open to that. Yeah, $3. There you go.
$3. It'll help out. Okay. Yes, just a couple things. The obvious, my sickness has not improved since last episode. We are trying to blast through this in order to be able to, make it so I can make it through the show without losing my voice. That would be nice. Tomorrow is a fun thing. I might be going on my first duck hunt. That's kind of cool. I don't know anything about that.
Hey, maybe did you ever watch the Duck Hunters? Are you influenced by did you buy their duck collar and all that?
You're talking about Duck Dynasty?
Duck Dynasty, yeah.
Yeah, back in the day. Yeah, my dad was a huge fan. It'd be one of the things we'd sit and watch together. I was really good at Duck Hunter on the Nintendo Entertainment System.
That's what I was thinking of. Yeah.
I had the dual cartridge with Super Mario and Duck Hunter on the same cartridge.
I had the triple.
The orange gun.
I had the triple. It was Duck Hunter, Mario, and the Olympic thing with the pads.
Oh.
You don't remember that.
Okay.
That's before
I've never seen a triple one. That's impressive.
I know.
Technology.
Old school.
And of course, many of you are already aware I am now officially a PhD in media deconstruction, Gonzo. And so I am the fancy boy of the podcast now, learned above all. Thank you to everybody who participated in my birthday executive producership to No Agenda. It was very cool. We got a great note read on the show. I am officially a PhD in media deconstruction.
I need
No
to hear
Agenda.
that. I haven't listened to it yet. I need to catch up
I'm
on
a
that.
fancy lad. It went well. It was a good read. You know, that doesn't always happen, but it was a good read on the show. I'm very excited. I was very happy.
Adam Curry acknowledged your existence. He wasn't like, I don't know, this person doesn't seem real. I don't remember.
Yes, for the first time in history, acknowledged our existence.
Hey, that's good.
But hey, and this is not trying to be mean to Adam, but he, there's a little piece of the note there to try to get him to come on the show, and he responded in a very positive manner to come on the show.
Okay.
So we got to send him an email. He's going to send him an email. We've done that before, but we'll do it again.
Do it again.
Set it on the show. And even on top of that, the Podfather himself liked a tweet about me and my PhD.
Oh, there you go.
Not from me. I did not. Yeah, I did not tweet it, but a producer tweeted it. Let me see who did it. It was, give some shout outs to El Gato Bilbo.
Oh, that's right.
El Gato Bilbo said, congrats, Basil Rosewhite. I just heard you're a PhD recipient from the mouth of the Podfather himself, Adam Curry. Let's get this testimonial interview in the works. Great job, producers of Canary Cry Radio. Face Like the Sun, love your work. And boom, Adam Curry liked the tweet.
Nice.
Finally. It's kind of like when your dad, tells you he's proud of you for the first time. It's a big deal.
Oh, that actually happens? I didn't know that actually. There's something that take place.
Yeah.
There's some language barriers. There's some language, cultural differences there.
Still there.
Yeah. No, I bring all kinds of achievements to the table, and they're just never quite good enough for the Asian parents there. There's always a rung to the ladder,
Well,
yeah. I don't know what they would do.
Keeps him motivated. Keeps him motivated.
Apparently. We'll see.
All right. So with that, thank you everybody who participated in that. That meant a lot to me. It meant a lot to the show. We were able to get the word out there. We've already seen a spike in downloads and people checking out the website and stuff. So that's very valuable use of producership, time, and energy. But with that, Gons, let's thank some executive producers. I'm going to go through all the producers.
Executive producers.
That's right. We're on the value for value model, folks, which means we take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels. No advertising dollars. No selling your attention just because you give it to us. Instead, the people who find value in the show recognize that the world we are now in and the world that we are moving into, they recognize it's important that for independent media to truly be independent, they need to stay away from corporate funding, and that means advertising. So they get value, they put value back in. That value can come in the form of time, talent, or treasure. It's not all about money. We got all sorts of important producers helping out the show. But these executive producers, they come in for $100 or more per episode, individual episode, and that's why we are very grateful for them. You ready?
Yes, sir.
Okay, as far as I can tell, we have one executive producer for today, and yes, it is the master and commander executive producer, Cyril X Protocol V2 Knight of the Berean Protocol. And he comes in with the classic $100 and 33 cents, 227 episodes in a row, and a 23 episode executive producer streak. Still shocked. You'll never get used to it. There we go. Thank you very much, executive producer Cyril X Protocol V2, now to the Berean Protocol. We're praying for you. We're grateful for you. We pray the Lord keeps blessing you. And I'll extend that message to the rest of the producers. Short list today. You ready?
Hold on. Cyril X, there's no note from Cyril X Protocol.
No, not that.
Where'd you find this?
Bankroll out the bankroll.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate you.
Yeah. Here's the rest of the producers. We thank God for these producers, and you, dear listener, should thank these producers because these are the people keeping the show alive for you to enjoy until your time comes to produce the show. Starting with producer Julie S.
Julie S., thank you. Hit that button a little early.
Julie S. came in, I believe, for a nice round number, so we won't disclose that. If you don't mind us disclosing your amount, make it some sort of funky number, and we will read it. Thank you, producer Julie S.
Appreciate you.
Yeah. Next up, we had Dame Grace come in.
Hey, Dame Grace.
Thank you very much, Dame Grace. If you want real quick to look up Dame Grace's full night name, that would be helpful. But Dame Grace's producership, it's kind of hard to figure out what it was because it is a crazy number. But it is, I don't know if it was meant to be crazy. PayPal continues to kind of shift their fee structure. So it's hard to, it used to be I'd be able to look at a number and immediately know, whether it was meant to be a round number or meant to not be a round number. That is no longer the case. So I hope I am doing okay by saying producer Dame Grace came in for $14.76 plus fees, or $15.95.
Either way, I don't have a button for that, but yeah, thank you. I cannot find the name on the roundtable list.
Maybe Dame Grace didn't make it onto the website. We need to do that.
Yeah, I'm trying to look for it in the emails, but I'm not finding it there either.
Did you do a word search for Dame Grace on the page?
On the page, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I know for a fact that producer Grace has been damed.
Was it after episode 666?
I don't know. I don't know. But we'll figure it out. Thank you very much, producer Dame Grace.
Thank you.
Next up, we got producer Doctor Who Dundat comes in for $777 plus fees. He's on a 21 episode streak, 21 gun salute. Okay, we got an update here from Doctor Who Dundat. He says 5 months, no drinking. As of today, God is good.
Hey, that's fantastic.
Congratulations, Dr. Who Dundat. You're doing a great job.
Hallelujah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're all very, very proud of you. And he says, my lady friend and I have decided to move toward dating again.
Hey,
okay,
that's good.
Moving toward dating. I like that pace, just start moving in the right direction. Don't need to jump into anything. It says, I could use prayer that I let God do the leading. God bless the Canarians and have a good weekend, y'all. Why don't we hit those pray-ducers real quick?
Pray-ducers, assemble!
That's right, pray-ducers, people out there praying for the show, praying for us, praying for the producers of the show. Pray-ducers, listen up. It's you. If you can pray, we're putting Dr. Who Dundat on the list that he lets God do the leading in all things, but especially with that lady friend of his. All right, good luck, Dr. Who Dundat. Okay, that concludes the list of financial producers who came in above $7.77, which entitles them to have a note read on the show. We got a list of people who came in under that. We're going to run through it real quick. Ready, go. Start with producer 3. Next up, we got Sir Moore from Out of the Burning Chariots, 291 episodes in a row.
Thank you.
Next up, we got Veronica D, 321 in a row.
Thank you, Veronica D.
Almost to that 322. We got Sir Scott Knight of Truth, 345 in a row.
Thank you, Sir Scott.
We got Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
Sir Casey the Shield Knight.
360 in a row. We got Dame, Gale, Canary, Whisper, and Lady of X's and O's, 316 in a row.
316.
316. Oh.
316.
Oh, great.
Are you dancing yet? Are you dancing?
Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
I forgot about that. Okay. There you go. That concludes all the financial producers for today's show. Been a little bit of a lighter week, but we appreciate everybody's involvement. The world is crazy. We understand that. You can go to canarycry.support to jump in, become a part of the team with your time, your talent, or your treasure.
Canarycry.support.
Okie dokie. It's time for the Flippy update, Guns.
Flippy update.
Flippy update.
Do you want fries with that?
A lot of funny comments about my duck hunting in the chat. Okay, Flippy update. Flippy is our colloquial name for the disembodied robot arms that are taking our jobs, enslaving our children, and flirting with our spouses. We use Talking About Flippy as a way to explore all the new, fun, and exciting ways that robots are taking over the world and how there's nothing we can do about it. Today's Flippy update is also kind of a combo drone update.
Drone strikes have saved lives.
Can we shoot them down if over our property?
Drones.
Okay, yeah, I'm doing just kind of a quick twofer here because this was something that we've been talking about for quite some time. We made some very specific predictions on, which are, turns out, always correct. This is coming from NewScientist.com. Ukrainian AI attack drones may be killing without human oversight. That's funny. They added that maybe later on. Ukraine is using drones equipped with artificial intelligence that can identify and attack targets without any human control in the first battlefield use of autonomous weapons or killer robots. Now, for those who have been paying attention, they say the first battlefield use of autonomous weapons because we've seen autonomous weapons be used specifically on the border of China and India, but that is not officially a battlefield. And, it's the Chinese. What are you going to do about it? But this is Ukraine. They're tired of losing their drone operators, so they have equipped a lot of these drones with autonomous AI systems. And real quick, I'm going to pop this into the Wayback Machine because it's cutting off part of the article, but that is okay. Let me give you some of this. Ukrainian attack drones equipped with artificial intelligence are now finding and attacking targets without human assistance. NewScientist has learned in what would be the first confirmed use of autonomous weapons or killer robots. They didn't take the opportunity to use the word killbot, and I'm a little offended by that, but that's okay. Killer robots, while the drones are designed to target vehicles such as tanks rather than infantry, it is almost certain that the resulting explosions are killing Russian soldiers without a direct command from a human operator, although no casualties have been confirmed. This is a funny thing in this article.
Wait a minute. No casualties confirmed?
Well, this is the thing. They are justifying this morally, the AI killbots. They're justifying it morally by saying we don't target humans. We only target vehicles. And they've got something like, 60 military structures and vehicles that the AI is trained to kill. But they never quite admit that, like, there are humans in these vehicles. They're like, no, it's fine. We're just blowing up Russia's toys. It's machine against machine. And the autonomous drone has no human, but it's blowing up tanks that have humans inside of it. But their sort of moral justification is kind of getting a pass. Like, okay, you can let robots choose their own victims and explode the tanks as long as you don't have them target humans. So it's this kind of very sneaky sort of double double speak, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, it's not targeting humans, but if humans are around, especially Russian soldiers,
that's just
I don't know.
Just unfortunate.
Hey,
yeah.
Hey, we're in wartime, Basil. There's going to be collateral damage.
I mean, yeah, but the funny thing is, it's like killing Russian soldiers. Like, there's really nothing wrong with that in the sort of
in the context of the West reporting something happening.
The context of the war. The only reason that they have to like make a big point about not targeting soldiers is because it's an autonomous robot. Like the propaganda is not to defend Ukraine about killing Russians. It's to defend the AI because just because, it's kind of part of the conversation.
Well, if you're going to unleash the killer robots, have it be in the context of, oh, hey, they're autonomous, they're taking out the enemy. It's a problem if they're taking out our own people. But as long as they're taking out the bad guys, then, hey, it's a little scary, but also, hey, they're not directly targeting people. They're like AI drone apologists. It's weird.
It's really robots killing people is sort of the big problem. The big, that's the UN has put out their reports, their suggestions. Like, you're not allowed to kill people with AI. But, just blow up Jeeps and tanks and stuff. And if there happens to be a person driving the thing, that's just collateral damage. That's not the AI's fault. And it kind of goes into all the stuff we already know about this, but it's interesting because back when we first started talking about specifically Ukrainian AI drones, we started pontificating that this is kind of the next step. It was back in 2021 or so, like right at the beginning when they started using drones, where there was comments being made in the media like, in 5 or 10 years, the drones are going to be equipped with AI. It's the future. It's not happening now and it won't happen for a while, but in 5 or 10 years, it's always 5 or 10 years, we're going to have, we'll have figured out the moral issues with people getting killed by AI, and it'll be incredible. And it's all thanks to the frontiering, the pioneering of the Ukraine, ragtag band of drone pilots. And I believe I said the literal words, nope, it will happen next year. This is not going to be 5 or 10 years. This is going to happen in the much more immediate sense. And here we are about a year or two later. You have any comments on this?
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to wrangle in the dog over there. Oh boy. Son standing on chair.
Good. It's the explosions are happening. Here's a quick comment. A central feature of the debate has been the ability of such weapons to comply with the law of war and avoid civilian casualties, says Shar. Quote, if we see Ukraine beginning to deploy autonomous weapons in a way that is effective, avoids civilian casualties, and hits military targets, it may be hard to object, but there is a very real risk that this could lead to indiscriminate use of such weapons later on. No kidding. And that later on tag at the end of it, I think is a very generous way for them to be talking about it.
I think a lot of this is also part of the battle taking place right now for AI regulation. So anytime you see any stories about AI, autonomous, anything, you have to kind of look at it through that lens of, okay, who's trying to control the narrative so that they can create the kind of legal lanes or, whatever at an international level. And that's part of the technology effect that we've seen with the internet itself, but also with something like this, where now that, the technology is spread out, your normal civilian can put together a drone and strap a gun to, I know that's illegal, but in terms of like warfare, they can start having a little bit more clearer rules, I guess. And, the people like the UN, the article itself mentions how the UN came out at the end of the article here. Discussing legal restrictions on autonomous weapons or killer robots for many years, and numerous campaign groups want to see them banned. 2021 UN report claimed autonomous attack drones were used in Libya in 2020, but this was never proven. There are currently no specific laws covering autonomous weapons. So I think that's what the part of this is, you know, just trying to make it seem like, oh, see, it's a problem. Like right now, they're just killing Russians on accident or whatever. But as soon as this hits anybody, you know, of importance in the West, then boom, they'll have the political currency to establish laws, and maybe the UN is just setting themselves up to be that.
Sure.
In this context.
Yeah, and it's interesting because as we've known and as we've been told by sort of the slip of the tongue of some military brass over the years, that Ukraine is actually a petri dish. It's an experiment in the new futuristic types of warfare. This whole drone thing, using AI, you know, there's an angle to the Ukraine war that it was, you know, sort of at least not avoided so that companies and militaries can test the new generation of kinetic warfare because they really there was no live fire opportunity to test out all these new fancy, you know, killing machines. They were sort of all being developed and produced without real world battlefield experience. And so the Ukraine war produced a confined legal test bed for some of these futuristic weapons. And, you know, we can go into microwave beams and lasers and stuff like that too. But the AI and the drones getting a pass from the media pretty much altogether. So pretty interesting.
I wouldn't be surprised if the UN or some, you know, the EU, whoever, some international organization decided to start some kind of robot battle Coliseum type of thing where it's like, okay, you know, you guys want to have these killer drones or whatever. It's illegal to sort of go out there on the ground and do it, but let's go ahead and move into the, you know, towards a Hunger Games type of deal, but not there yet, where if you want to solve geopolitical issues, we just have a big robot stadium battle.
Yeah.
And no humans in there, you know, no humans allowed inside the stadium, all AI cameras, you know, all that stuff. We get to observe, and, you know, you got your two teams and all that kind of stuff. People are going to want that, especially after this whole Gaza thing and all the stuff going on with Ukraine and I think people are going to be way more eager to be like, let's settle this in the metaverse, guys. Come on. Yeah. We don't want to hurt each other physically. Let's just put on our Web3 skins and duke it out in the metaverse. And then
no, I think that's best case scenario because it's hard to depopulate a region in the metaverse.
Well, if you get them all into silos and put VR helmets on them and ship them off to Mars. And you're good.
You got me there, Gons.
Elon's big plan, you know, microchip the brains, connect them to the internet, ship them off to Mars, and then they got their little Soylent Green situation, but it's Soylent Red, you know, because the red planet. Yeah. All right. Anything else on this Ukraine thing?
Yeah. Why don't, speaking of shipping people off to Mars, why don't you tell us about what NewSom's been up to?
It's NewSom science, baby!
I think you cut out a little bit there, so the live audience may not have heard you for a second there. But yeah, whoa, Gavin Newsom.
You didn't get my good joke.
What was your joke?
No. That's for the RSS feed. That's for the podcast listeners.
Got it.
They get all the good jokes that get cut out by bad internet.
Okay. Well, we got a quick, you know, Gavin Newsom's been on, Gavin Newsom, the governor of California, allegedly. He's been running around, and I got, you know, it's funny. I have these Newsom ISOs, and I haven't played them in a while. What's this one here?
The evidence is simply overwhelming. Masks keep Californians healthy.
Okay. That didn't age well there, Newsom. What about this one?
Doubling down on stupid.
Ooh. Oh, that was him talking about probably some other people. Okay. So recently, people can tell that Gavin Newsom is on the presidential run. Not 2024.
Just what finally convinced me is Chris Shilzilla retweeted something from Christopher Cadalago about Gavin Newsom's office, sends out this pic of him at the Great Wall in China on October 26th. Chris Shilzilla retweeted, or I'm sorry, quote tweeted this and just said, he's running.
Very cryptic there, Shilzilla.
Yeah.
So anyway, yes, Gavin Newsom visited China, and there's a 37-second clip here of Gavin Newsom talking about his conversations there in China.
The more successful China is, the more successful we all will be.
Yeah.
And I think that's incredibly important. There's a lot of discussion in this country, and there was a lot of discussion today and yesterday, and there'll be a lot more in the next few days around de-risking the nomenclature of the moment versus decoupling. For me, I'm a little more simple. It's about diversification. And I think that's a healthy thing for every country. But again, it's just about competition, raises everyone's game. But zero sum, I completely reject that framework. It's a very dangerous framework.
Okay.
The more successful.
Wow.
So there you have it, straight out of Gavin Newsom's mouth. He's got to. He can't bite the hand that feeds there, so he's got to be pro-China. And
I know it's so funny. If he is running for president, Gavin Newsom, he knows he doesn't actually need to be concerned about American voters. He needs to convince China that it's best for China if he gets elected. Just because we all know why. It's really sickening. He's yet to do anything that doesn't make me sick to my stomach.
Oh, I did. Yeah, I know. It's hilarious too, because, it's not any kind of fifth generation warfare or some kind of covert warfare that China has deployed on the West, specifically America, for the last, 30 years or something, probably, in earnest after Obama got in office. But but it's just healthy competition is really what it is. It's just, hey, we're giving up all of our trade secrets and a lot of our, but it's just good competition, man. Which, by the way, if we are going to compete with China when it comes to certain things, does that mean we have to change our ethical approach to things? Because, the CCP doesn't really follow the Western values model when it comes to taking information or stealing information or whatever. So I guess Gavin Newsom is pro theft and
pro China,
pro China, pro communism, I guess.
Yeah,
So good.
Yeah, I mean,
good
him
future.
And Trudeau, man, him and Trudeau, they admire the CCP. They admire the Chinese system.
Oh, I hope we live in a world in a few years where Newsom and Trudeau combine forces, and there's a truesome combo.
That's pretty funny.
That would be the end of all of Western civilization.
They're almost the same person already. It's really weird.
Yeah.
Okay, let's talk about fifth generation warfare psyop for a second.
Again?
Fifth gen warfare.
They're targeting you.
Fifth gen warfare.
Psyops.
That's a fun one. Okay. All right. I have mixed feelings about this. On one hand, it's a tale as old as time. On the other hand, pushing this idea right now is so specifically dubious. This is coming from MSN.com. It's mirroring the LA Times. Stanford.
Sorry.
Yeah, Stanford scientist, after decades of study, very long time, concludes. Okay, he has a conclusion, which that's good science. When you cast out all doubt and by faith conclude something scientifically. We don't have free will. All right, so this is a conversation that's been going on for thousands of years in the theological realm and just more recently the scientific realm. But here's the scientific update on free will. Before epilepsy was understood to be a neurological condition, people believed it was caused by the moon or by phlegm in the brain. I think I have some phlegm in my brain right now. They condemned seizures as evidence of witchcraft or demonic possession and killed or castrated sufferers to prevent them from passing tainted blood to a new generation. Okay, so already a dubious start to a talk about free will, comparing it to epilepsy. Okay. Today, we know epilepsy is a disease. By and large, it's accepted that a person who causes a fatal traffic accident while in the grip of a seizure should not be charged with murder. Here we go. That's good. You know what? I'm sorry. My mute button is gone, so I'm going to put my face away from the mic. I got to cough real bad. Okay, hopefully the frog is gone. Today, we know epilepsy is a disease. By and large, it's accepted that a person, I already read this, they're not murderers if they have a car crash and a seizure. That's good, says Stanford University neurobiologist Robert Sapolsky. That's a name we have heard many times before. That's progress, but there's still a long way to go. Okay. After more than 40 years studying human and other primates, Sapolsky has reached the conclusion that virtually all human behavior is as far beyond our conscious control as the convulsions of a seizure, the division of cells, or the beating of our hearts. So this is a very drastic statement saying that Calvinist? We do not. Yeah, I know it is. That's this is a part of the conversation. It's taking Calvinism to a whole new level. It's the scientific case for Calvinism. He's saying you can't control your own behavior as far as you can control having seizures, having your cells divide, having your heart beat. You have he's talking zero control of your behavior. This means accepting that a man who shoots into a crowd has no more control over his fate than the victims who happen to be in the wrong place at the wrong time. It means treating drunk drivers who barrel into pedestrians just like drivers who suffer a sudden heart attack and veer out of their lane. Quote, the world is really screwed up and made much, much more unfair. So it's a screwed up world, and it's even more unfair by the fact that we reward people and punish people for things they have no control over, Sapolsky said. We've got no free will. Stop attributing stuff to us that isn't there. So, first of all, the use of unfair gives away the entire game here. We're talking equity, we're talking equality, we're talking, all the social justice stuff. Unfair is the trigger word. If something is unfair, it must be made fair. And in this case, what's fair is to not punish people for anything or reward people for good behavior. Which basically what he's saying is, on one hand, if he was talking to like social justice warriors, I could see the social justice warrior conversation being like, it's unfair. Society is a societal construct. Because of course, if anything is a societal construct, then it's fake and we don't need to do it. So rewarding people for good behavior and punishing people for bad behavior is a societal construct. And then, they get a medal from their university or something. Sapolsky, a MacArthur, I like this part. Sapolsky, a MacArthur, quote, genius grant winner. Now, here's the thing, folks. Previously, we've talked about MacArthur Genius Grant winners. The MacArthur Genius Grant is a proper noun. That is the name of a prize. And previously, it's been capital MacArthur, capital Genius, capital Grant. That's how it's sort of supposed, in the past, how it's been printed. But here they have MacArthur, capital, it's a name, in quotations and lowercase, genius, and then Grant, lowercase as well.
Why?
So
that's weird.
It is
weird.
Are they
trying to move away from the whole thing?
Yeah, so this is the LA Times. They tend to trend to the right. So I'm thinking that might be a little bit of a hint of that, but I don't know if it's, world changing either way. Sapolsky, a MacArthur Genius Grant winner, is extremely aware that this is an out there position. Most neuroscientists believe humans have at least some degree of free will. So do most philosophers and the vast majority of the general population. Free will is essential to how we see ourselves, fueling the satisfaction of achievement or the shame of failing to do the right thing. Saying that people have no free will is a great way to start an argument. This is partly why Sapolsky, who describes himself as, quote, majorly averse to interpersonal conflict, put off writing his new book, Determined, A Science of Life Without Free Will.
Wait, hold on. Did he have the free will to write that, or is he some...
Yeah, you might be asking yourself, what the heck does one have to do with the other? Is majorly averse to interpersonal conflict and then writing the book. It seems like by his logic, if he is majorly averse to interpersonal conflict, that he should not have written the book, that he had to make a choice to write the book. But, don't question the Stanford scientists, Gons. You'll go to science hell.
I was going to say this at some point during your read here, but just based on the headline, Stanford scientists conclude we don't have free will. And I was thinking, you know what? Maybe you're right. Maybe Stanford scientists don't have free will because they're all part of like the little. That's a
really good point.
The beast system is the one that has the will there, and you're just clogging the wheel there, Stanford scientists. Continue.
Nah, that's a very good point. Okay, I'm going to skip a paragraph or two here and say this.
Did I say clog in the wheel? I meant cog. I'm having a moment.
It's a slog in the veal, Gons. Analyzing human behavior through the lens of any single discipline leaves room for the possibility that people choose their actions, he says. But after a long, cross-disciplinary career, he feels it's intellectually dishonest to write anything other than what he sees as the unavoidable conclusion. Free will is a myth, and the sooner we accept that, the more just our society will be.
Wait, okay. I'm sorry. So I'm an armchair philosopher, and this is all over the place. I don't even know where to start.
It's all over the place. But what he's saying is for us to live in a just society. I'm thinking maybe he doesn't know the definition of just, because what he's saying is in order to have a just society, a fair society, we cannot punish people who do bad things because they were destined to do them. So we should just let them run free. And you might be thinking that I am exaggerating. You will see I am not exaggerating. He wrote a book. The book breaks down the neurochemical influences that contribute to human behaviors, analyzing the milliseconds to centuries preceding, say, the pulling of a trigger or the suggestive touch on an arm. Determined goes a step further. It is impossible for any single neuron or any single brain to act without influence from factors beyond its control. Now, here's the thing. We can all agree that any single neuron, one single neuron in your brain, can't act without influence from factors. Of course, there's influence from factors.
Nothing exists without influence from other things. That's sort of the fabric of space-time is dependent on the influence of other objects.
Our behaviors and our actions are influenced by lots of factors. But he goes on, Sapolsky argues, there can be no logical room for free will. Great.
I don't think there's logical room for this thought here. But continue.
That seems a little bit more likely in my case. All right. I'm going to skip down quite a bit. It'll give you some insight into this fella, and we'll come to his conclusions. Now, they're talking about Sapolsky here. He is raised as an Orthodox Jewish household in Brooklyn, the son of immigrants from the former Soviet Union. Biology called him early. By grade school, he was writing fan letters to primatologists and lingering in front of taxidermied gorillas at the American Museum of Natural History.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. But religion shaped life at home. That all changed. Oh, this is what I love. This is the cringiest. This is so classically like 1960s atheism, like very, I love the boomers. Boomers, we wouldn't exist without boomers. The show wouldn't exist without the boomers. I love you, boomers. But this is a classic atheist boomer story. That all changed on a single night in his early teens, he says. While grappling with questions of faith and identity, he was struck by an epiphany that kept him awake until dawn and reshaped his future. God is not real. There is no free will. And we primates are pretty much on our own.
Oh, so he figured it out when he was a teenager and then just needed 40 years of science to back up his findings.
What a special, unique individual in his early teens decided that God is not real. Whoa, what a smart guy. Says, quote, that was kind of a big day, he said with a chuckle, quote, and it's been tumultuous since then. Skeptics could see it. And then it goes on with his sort of relationship with religion and how that makes him somehow like more qualified to come to this conclusion.
Well, he's a victim of the religious thinking.
I'm going to jump down. Yes, exactly. I'm going to jump down below that picture of him sitting. For fellow adherents of determinism, the belief that it's impossible for any person in any situation to have acted differently than they did, Sapolsky's scientific defense of the cause is welcome. Quote, who we are and what we do is ultimately the result of factors beyond our control. And because of this, we are never, he says, never morally responsible for our actions in the sense that would make us truly deserving of praise and blame, punishment and reward, said Greg Caruso, philosopher at SUNY Corning. I am in agreement with Sapolsky that life without belief in free will is not only possible, but preferable. So never morally responsible for actions that deserve punishment.
How are they even measuring morality here? What basis by which is something morally good or bad? Or
so this is that's perfect. That's a perfect question, because what they're saying is there is no free will, therefore there is no morality. That's how you can get leftists who have been calling Trumpers anti-Semitic for years, and then in the same breath, they go out and they start threatening Jews in the streets of New York. You've got leftists who subscribe to the no moral compass. There is no objective morality. That's already how they act, is that there is no objective morality. On one hand, Trump is anti-Semitic. On the other hand, we can go antagonize and beat up Jews in the street because of what's happening in Palestine. It is the ultimate excuse for the radically left mode of thinking, which is, as it's pointed out day in, day out, everywhere you go. It's part of the funnest part of this show is pointing out the hypocrisy of everybody, but the hypocrisy of the sort of radical left is the best, because they will blatantly, I'm trying to think of a better way of saying it than just like celebrate hypocrisy, but that really is what it is. They will say one thing one day and then do the thing the next day and then blame somebody else for it the same day. And it's based on this idea that society is unfair. It's unfair because of morality is a social construct. And now they have the Stanford scientific conclusion that nobody should be held accountable for any action. It is sort of the genesis scripture of social justice, theology, that, oh, you know what? None of what we say makes any sense because we're total hypocrites on a daily basis. But if science, our God, scientists, or scientism says that there is no free will, then that justifies every single horrible thing that we do on a daily basis. And it's really perfect timing, especially from what you're seeing from the left in regards to anti-Semitism, calling other people anti-Semitic for years and years and years, and now turning around and literally being the most anti-Semitic a group of people could possibly be.
Yeah.
From the river to the sea, Israel has no right to exist. And literally beating up Jews on a daily basis. We're seeing videos of leftist Palestinian protest marches that turn into beat up Jew day in the middle of the street. It's so sickening. And it all goes back to this previously Orthodox Jew. He grew up in an Orthodox Jewish home. One day as a teenager, with his brain not even fully formed, and responding to the flood of hormones and emotions that is being a teenager. We've all had silly ideas in our teenage years, but he stuck with it for like 50 years and now has laid down the scientific justification for beating up the group of people that he left so long ago when he just had an epiphany at the Science Museum or whatever. At the end of the article, it says here, quote, "It is logically indefensible, ludicrous, meaningless to believe that something good can happen to..." Wait. Oh, I got to go back a couple of things here. He says, "We are machines," Sapolsky argues, "exceptional in our ability to perceive our own experiences and feel emotions about them. It is pointless to hate a machine for its failures." And this has a wonderful little loop in with AI and stuff like that. He's calling humans machines due to their lack of free will. There is only one last thread he can't resolve. Okay, so here's the mystery. Quote, "It is logically indefensible, ludicrous, meaningless to believe that something good can happen to a machine," he writes. "Nonetheless, I am certain that it is good if people feel less pain and more happiness." So it's sort of this contradictory ending to the article to show, as he's saying that we are machines and that science shows that we are machines, and that free will is as ludicrous as blaming epilepsy on whatever. He's saying, but I do want people to feel good, less pain and more happiness. Why? Exactly.
There's no point under his premise. There's no point to any of that. So yeah.
Unless, he's programmed that way, I guess. But that certainly didn't come from the Science Museum. That probably would have come from his Orthodox Jewish background. But yeah, it's really, look, we've seen stuff like this. This is a long time conversation. Theologians, Calvinists, we've all been talking about this for a long, long time. But now to have at this point in history, the perfect point in history for this to come out, be concluded by Stanford scientists, an ex-Orthodox Jew, to justify, I'm not saying that horrific stuff isn't going on in Gaza. That's true. Horrific stuff is going in Gaza. But as far as American political leftists and their behavior, they are completely 100% off the hook now. And honestly, if I said that this wouldn't sort of go to propagating the evil being done in the American streets as we speak at this very moment, I would be lying. I would be silly. I would be, but you couldn't blame me for it because of my lack of free will.
Yeah, I will say this: if the study sheds light on anything, it's actually the biblical truth that we are in a fallen state. If there's anything else, the knowledge of good and evil has confused us to no end. And this is perhaps the most prime example of such a philosophy that can stem from the fall. So there is one part, I can't find it now. I had it earlier, and for some reason my highlighter wasn't working. But basically there was something about transcending. Yeah, here we go. Saul Smilensky, a philosopher, University of Haifa in Israel, and author of the book Free Will and Illusion, rejects the idea that we can will ourselves to transcend all genetic and environmental constraints. But if we want to live in a just society,
all genetic constraints.
All genetic,
These guys are working in ridiculous sort of I don't know, measurements.
Yeah, the measurements. Yeah, all or nothing.
If there is one influence on your brain, then you have no free will, and if you because you have free will, you can't possibly overcome all influences of genetics. No kidding. Nobody's saying that. These guys are arguing with somebody that doesn't exist.
They're arguing with God in a sense. They're talking about eternal things or infinite things. But if we want to live in a just society, we have to believe that we can. So it's almost like, we got to lie to ourselves that we can. Quote, losing all belief in free will and moral responsibility would likely be catastrophic, he said, and encouraging people to do so is dangerous, even irresponsible. So it's a pushback, but also it's kind of like, but we kind of maybe need it a little bit if we're going to transcend ourselves, which is...
but it's in this postmodern context,
of course,
where it's like, we will pretend as if things matter, and that'll be good.
Fake it till you make it. Do you want to knock out this Antarctica Nephilim update real quick, and then we can thank some people and head out?
I don't know if I like doing that. Let's do talent real quick.
Okay, all right. Let's see. That throws me off a little bit. You threw me off.
I'm sorry.
It's always great.
I'm sorry to throw you off.
We do have, we're going to thank some producers coming in with their talent. These are people who support the show by helping us build the culture behind the community here, using art, jingles, music, all kinds of stuff. And we're going to start off with some audio production here.
Audio production.
And maybe not, because I actually don't have any audio. I thought I did.
Okay.
But maybe I don't. Oh, no, I don't. Okay. Yeah, Jonathan Neff was the last one that sent stuff in. So, hey, art time. Here we go.
Art, please.
We're going to start off with Dove, Sir Dove Knight of Rusbeltia.
Yeah.
One art piece from Dove.
You had a note, said, peace. For today's artwork, I did another thumbnail duo illustration. I made this one a couple weeks ago when you guys talked about creating a cover band and taking over Jimmy Buffett's Antarctica cruise line as a podcast exiting strategy. I hope you guys like it. Keep doing what you do, and I'll keep praying for you. It's Dove.
This is great. This is really good. I love, that it's fun with the art, because a lot of times, if there's a joke on a show, it can immediately be turned into art. But sometimes things become sort of like part of the lore of the show, and those can kind of keep rearing its head in the art. This is a wonderful thing. It's a shot in the background is a shot of Antarctica. From the view of a ship, probably a cruise ship. Of course, we're talking about Jimmy Buffett's previous Jimmy Buffett cruises to Antarctica. You got the mountains in the background. You got the ship deck in the foreground. And, of course, we've got your two Jimmy Buffett-themed favorite podcasters up front here. You got the googly-eyed Canary just really feeling it. Taking a Jimmy Buffett run on that electric guitar. Got the turquoise shirt with the Nephilim penguin pattern.
I think that's the Margaritaville Nephilim penguin.
Yes, but it's the Margaritaville Nephilim penguin. He's got his own mummy penguin pattern shirt on and holding a margarita, of course. And then on my pink guitar strap, we've got the no lizards symbol, no lizards allowed. And there's something about it. I have to guess, if I had to guess Dove's process here, I think he pulled up an actual picture of Jimmy Buffett and then sort of drew over it to create this creature that he's created, because the stance, the the posture,
Yeah.
the face, the hat, like the whole shape of the whole thing is so perfectly quintessentially Jimmy Buffett, sticking out the tongue while doing a little solo, doing a little guitar solo. And on the right, we've got Gons. Cabana Boy, rather, with his pink shirt. He's got his turquoise and pink flowery guitar strap. He's got his tinted blue shades on. This is a acoustic guitar. And of course, we got some stickers on the acoustic guitar. We got the Delulu is the Salulu sticker with Justin Trudeau in the style of his dad there. And we've got the Canary Cry News Talk Soviet sticker, the Gons and Basil in the form of Stalin and Lenin. These are both stickers that exist and have been sent out to people. This is awesome. Thank you so much, Sir Dove. This is really a fun one. I appreciate it.
Yeah, very well done. Thank you so much, Sir Dove. Appreciate all that. We also have something from Sir Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas.
Darren Knight of the Hungry Pandas.
This is a note.
Good job being on the jingle, Guns.
Oh, yeah. It's your favorite podcasters, Basil and Gons. I mean, Brazel and Grons. They've escaped their cages and are ready to shake things up. Gons. Oh, am I supposed to see this? Basil, are you ready? The stream is live. Basil. On. I think I'm supposed to be oh no.
Are you reading from the notes or
Yes.
reading from the art piece?
I'm reading from the note.
Because he has all this stuff on the art
Oh,
piece,
maybe he. Okay, yeah, I see what he did there.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, maybe go ahead.
So
and
this is an
explain.
excellent piece by Sir Darren. In fact, he turned it into a GIF that you can find on Twitter right now. It's excellent. And of course, the story here is that my bunnies have escaped once again, and they have taken over the show. We've got a couple of very cute chibi bunnies in the style of myself and Gons, who are holding unplugged cords. The sabotage is real. And we've got a phone represented here with what looks to be the takeover of the YouTube channel by the bunnies. Carrots flying everywhere. We've got some different birds, a canary there with heart eyes. Looks like a goose or a duck or a different kind of canary. We've got Canary Cry News Talk down at the bottom, and it says, Basil, are you ready? The stream is live. Static noise. Oh no, the bunnies have escaped again. Gons, can you hear me? Gons. And then the bunnies come in. You're listening to Rabbit Ready Radio. Wazzle dazzle. It's your best bunny, Brazzle. And my name is Grons, your favorite lepus around us, formerly from the channel Carrot Cry Conspiracies. It's very cute. The GIF is even better. Thank you so much, Sir Darren, Night of the Hungry Panda. I would appreciate it very much.
Yep. Thank you very much. And that does it for the art. We do have one microfiction, and I believe it is from Wrong Smash. So let's do that real quick.
Scrolling.
Microfiction.
Time.
Microfiction.
Amid the captain's mighty yar of pain and the ferocious honking of the Dave the Elder's security geese, it's hard to make out what exactly happened. But atop a heap of destroyed food service drones stands a few battered but victorious knights.
Mm-hmm.
Love it.
Excellent.
Beautiful.
Yep. Thank you very much, Wrong Smash.
Okay, thank you to all of our artists. Remember, you can go to canarycry.art to upload anything you make for the show. That's very helpful. We love to feature it on the show, no matter what it is, no matter the quality. We just love people getting involved. You can go to canarycry.report if you'd like to send us an article to take a look at. Fill out the form there. That guarantees that we will see it. There are people who still email us stuff, and I'm just saying we built these portals because our email game is so weak. It's so weak. Things get lost. We don't see things. So one person touches email and it shows as red, and so the other person doesn't look at it. It's just a mess. So if you have art or articles for us to take a look at, go to canarycry.art or canarycry.report. I know we got one more short story, Gons. Your timing, are we going for a very
this will be
very on-time timing?
This will be a quick hit, real quick hit.
Okay.
Got to mention it.
So a new discovery, Antarctica.
Advanced Antarctica.
Climate crisis.
Penguins.
Nephilim update. Nephilim update. Nephilim update.
Well, it's about time somebody figured out the Nephilim penguin situation, because we've been on that for a long time. This is coming from SK Pop. It was going everywhere on the internet a few weeks ago. Fact check: is the opium bird real? Viral 2027 meme explained. And the meme, let's just explain it here. Images of a Bigfoot-like creature called the opium bird have recently gone viral on TikTok, perplexing users about its existence. And it looks like it was first uploaded on September 12th. And the image, it looks like an AI image of an upright, fuzzy, if a polar bear was a penguin, Nephilim type of creature there. Kind of creepy.
Yeah, it's very creepy. It was this thing that started making the rounds. It's AI generated, and it just kind of caught fire in a mimetic sense. And more people started building on it and making their own versions with AI. And it's looks to be like a 7 to 8 foot tall bird creature with the face covered in long flowing white fur or feathers. The face is generally black, just a black gigantic beak coming out of it, and the hands and the feet, sort of like a humanoid bird form. And the hands and the feet are also black and lanky and kind of spindly and creepy.
So it looks like we were right again, except we don't get any credit for any of this because,
No. Because
I'm sure somebody heard it.
The opium bird is exactly on the dot a Nephilim penguin. This is a Nephilim penguin. This is what it is. And of course, we've been yelling about Nephilim penguins for years. And suddenly it catches on. AI, of course.
Yeah, of course. See, that's the psyop there. They exist, but they're like, well, looks like the Canary Cry boys are on it. So let's create that AI fake version for a misdirection, and everyone can talk about it and then discredit those Canary boys. They're dangerous.
And this bird was an absolute sensation
Humongous.
online. Huge communities obsessed with this very creepy image. Everybody sort of making their own versions of it. People sort of, it took over places like TikTok and Instagram and Twitter for a little while. It's mostly a younger crowd, maybe like a younger Gen Z crowd. But it was very strange. But the obsession with the creepiness of this Nephilim penguin, and this is what I'm talking about. But once again, we are too correct too soon.
Yep. Well, story of the show there for what, almost 700 episodes. So there you have it. All right, we all get to enjoy it.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, everybody, for listening to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Thank you to all the producers, and we encourage everybody to take a second and consider the value you get from the show. Pray about it. Certainly don't put yourself at any financial risk producing the show, but the show only exists. And I will say this, I had a long think about this. We love that younger people listen to the show. We've got a lot of, millennials and Gen Zs who listen, and that's wonderful. We love you guys being here. But the boomers don't get enough credit. Everybody listening, for the most part, the boomers are keeping the show alive, man. You have your Canary Cry News Talk because of the boomers producing the show. They've been around a long time. They've had a lot of experience. They had a lot of time to observe the pain and suffering.
We should have a special badge for the boomers. Boomducers.
Special what?
A badge, like a special badge for boomers.
Yeah, we could do that. Boomer badge. So yes, and I want all the boomers out there to know, the boomers, they get a lot of guff around the internet. And I'm not even saying it's certain parts of it is not deserved. I'm just saying you get a lot of guff. And I just want to know the boomers. I want to let the boomers know that we love you around here. We recognize that you are a huge reason that this show exists. And we want this to be a safe place for everybody, including boomers. Thank you for being here. But with that, let's thank some other producers real quick. I just want to mention the Clippies. Clippy on those videos. Thanks. That's right, the Clippies. Thank you. Go to Canary Cry Clips on YouTube and Odyssey. Follow that channel. And that is where the Clippies will be clipping and posting the clips. Yay! And that's only possible because of the timestampers. Timestamp, it's hard work. Timestamp. That's right. Timestamps are a very important part of keeping the show going. It goes into so much of our back-end processes. These timestamps make it easy for people to navigate the show. And I want to thank Morgan E. for doing the timestamps for episode 681.
Thank you, Morgan E.
Morgan E's on a roll lately.
She is.
Morgan.
Yep, thank you.
Other than that, thank you to Jam for the links. Thank you to Clank for clanking. And thank you, everybody, for tuning in. It's very important. We're very happy to have you here. Maybe you're new. Maybe you're listening for the first time from the No Agenda Show. Welcome. We hope you stick around. Remember the last time when you first found No Agenda, it kind of took you a couple episodes to understand what was going on, catch on to the jokes, stuff like that. Just give us a couple episodes. We promise you'll enjoy your time. But share the show. Share it with your friends. Share it with your family. Share it with anybody who needs sharing. And share it with Sharon. Share it with your Aunt Sharon. Your Aunt Sharon needs to know the show. Your Aunt Sharon is going to love the show. Share with Sharon. And that's all I got to say about today. We call it Rattling Cages. And all you got to do is walk right up to Sharon, grab her by the cage, and then shake.
The end of the world occurred pretty much as we had predicted.
I want to shake things up, stir up some controversy, rattle a few cages. Hey, stop that! You'll never silence me. I'm the last angry man, a crusader for the little guy. Leave the bird alone. Never. Rattle a few cages. Rattle a few cages.
Human race will have every opportunity to improve.
And if they don't?
Ask Noah.
That's right. Just ask Noah. Gonz, any last words?
The first Sharon that I thought of was Sharon Gilbert, and make sure to be gentle.
You, Sharon Gilbert.
Yeah, be gentle when you. I mean, she doesn't need her cage rattled. She's already way rattled outside that cage. But just be careful. When you start rattling cages, you don't want to break ribs.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. Some Sharons are a little. It's kind of a little bit of an old school name. They're probably a little bit older. Don't shake their. Make sure they've taken their calcium and. They don't have any medical conditions that they don't need to be shaken. Or if they're a baby, don't shake a baby named Sharon.
Is Mighty Sharona about a Sharon?
I have no idea.
Mighty Sharona.
What a very important question to leave everybody on as we end the show.
Yeah.
And that's it, folks. Thanks for tuning in to this episode of Canary Cry News Talk. Make sure to tune in next time. But until then, think outside the cage.
We're all gonna die.
This is the way.
This is the United States of America, for God's sake. Armageddon's on the way.
I'll keep you warm and safe in my people too.
They love killing.
Remember, reality is an illusion. The universe is a hologram. Buy gold. Bye.
Bye, 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 bye. I'm out of here. Bye.
Value for value. We take no money from corporations, commies, or cartels.
Canary cry, that's support.